is so cool.
So this is Taco Tuesday Girl.
Hey, I know her.
Yeah.
This is not boring. I agree with that.
My
Long-form, unedited conversation. I love it.
Guys, hello from me at my house today. We're not at the studio, as you can probably tell, because we have a very special guest on the podcast today, and he is currently in Africa. He's in Namibia, I believe, and so the time difference is kind of crazy. The only thing that worked was Sunday, so it's a weekend today. None of the staff are in, so I'm doing this from home, so we can chat with him. He's an incredibly inspiring guy. His name is Russ. Right now, he goes by hardestgeezer. That's his social media presence on everything: YouTube, Instagram, Twitter. He's posting incredible content on all of those under hardestgeezer. What he's doing right now is running the entire length of the African continent, from, I believe, the south to the north. It's something like I believe the numbers are 360 marathons in 240 days, which means on average every day he's running an ultra marathon every day for 240 days through Africa. So it's like, it's like there's a whole bunch of, you got crossing borders, there's natural predators. It's an unbelievable undertaking, and if he finishes, if and when, he'll be the first person to do it. So, and as I said, he's posting amazing content. He came up on my Twitter feed randomly one day, and I saw him a couple times before I clicked one of his videos, and then I was like, oh my God, this guy is, this is just amazing what he's trying to do. So I followed him. He followed me back. I got in contact with him, asked him if he wanted to do this, not really expecting much because, as I said, the guy is running an ultra marathon every single day. And I imagine, in the middle of Africa, the internet probably, isn't the best. So I'm like, I just kind of like Hail Married. I was like, if you want to come on the podcast, let me know. And he hit me back right away and was like, dude, let's make it happen. And a few days later, here we are. He found some internet, and I believe he just finished running. And I also believe that he's been pissing blood. That's something that is like one of his most recent videos is him pissing blood. So I don't know how or why he's doing this. He's sitting down and talking to me, but I'm thrilled. This is something, these sorts of crazy endurance challenges are something I really resonate with, right? Because I grew up seeing my parents do these, and as I said, my dad was once in the Guinness Book of World Records for, an incredible feat of endurance like this. He broke the record for the most amount of distance traveled in human power in 24 hours. And so as a kid, one Christmas, I got the Guinness Book of World Records, and I opened it up, and there's a picture of my dad in there, which is pretty much the coolest thing for a kid ever. So, I used to watch him go out and train for these things, bike for 12 hours and then attempt these things multiple times, and we would travel with him. And so seeing people do these things, setting out on an insane, what seems like an impossible goal, is just, I think, one of the most inspiring things in the world. And I love reading about them and hearing about them and watching media about them. So to get to talk to this guy is really, really cool for me. And I'm really looking forward to this conversation. So that being said, please enjoy this. If you like it, hit the like button on YouTube for me, or leave us a review on Spotify or Apple Podcasts. Write a review, share with your friends, all of the above, or none of the above, or just enjoy it. Once again, he goes by hardestgeezer on social media. Go follow him. Go tag along for the journey. Tag along is what I meant there. All the best, and please enjoy.
Rolling, we're good. We're good to go, mate.
All right, sick.
Yeah.
What's up, dude?
Oh, mate, just out here, making moves in Africa.
How you feeling?
Mate, I feel the best I felt in a hot minute. It's day 45 now. I have been weeing blood a bit on and off for the past few days, but I feel good.
I I see that on your social media, and like yesterday,
Yeah,
we were supposed to do this yesterday, and I'm like, listen,
yeah,
like my producer was like, I haven't heard from him. I was like, listen, the dude is pissing blood. Like we have to work.
yeah.
Like we got to work around this man's schedule. He's dealing
Yeah, mate.
160K. He's out in the middle of Africa. He's pissing blood. I seriously doubt a podcast is on the top priority list for him right now.
Mate, I was trying to get to make it happen last night, but I had a long day of running, so I'm
Oh,
basically
dude.
running all day, and we drive to find it, and I'm just like, oh mate, we couldn't even get it, and then it was like, oh, this just we can't make it happen tonight. So I do apologize.
No, trust me,
But
I don't care. I'm serious. Like I was just I'm like just super happy to talk to you because I mean, first of all, I think what you're doing is incredible. I I just finished my first Ironman, and I grew up
oh,
watching my parents do like incredible feats of fitness. My dad had the world record for the most distance traveled on land by human power in 24 hours. So I grew up watching
no,
him train for that. And so like this has always been, seeing people do these amazing things like has always been something that I really resonate with. So when you popped up on my Twitter, I was like, who the fuck is this guy? And your videos are, and I was like, I got to talk to you. So I'm just pumped that we made this happen.
yeah, man. Well, thank you for having me on. Thanks for reaching out. Like, the support is really appreciated. So it means a lot, man.
So how are you feeling? Like your day 40 out of how many days?
Day 44 out of
44.
240 expected days if everything goes perfectly. But as we've seen in the first 44 days, everything doesn't go perfectly. So, yeah, mate, I'm feeling good. I'm feeling strong. I feel more confident now than ever before that I will finish this thing. There's absolutely no doubt in my mind that, it's run Africa or die trying, basically.
How confident did you feel on day one?
I'd say I felt about 99% confident, and now I'm 99.999% confident.
And nobody has done this before, right?
No, there's a guy that ran from Cape Town to Cairo, which is Cairo is in Egypt, Cape Town is South Africa, but no one's ever done the full true length of Africa for multiple reasons. But one of them is because there's a lot of geopolitical issues which make traveling through certain countries very difficult. There's loads of border visas to get. Like, it's a bit of a nightmare, I won't lie. But yeah, mate, first person to ever do it.
And what made you want to do this? Like, why'd you pick Africa?
Uh, Mate, I mean, there's quite a few reasons why. I think initially it was because a big reason was because no one's ever done it before, and I thought, I ran from Asia to London in 2019, and I was looking at the map, and I saw Africa, and I was like, what a big, beautiful continent that is. And then looked it up, no one had ran it. I thought, I reckon I could give it a go. And then it took me honestly, about 3 years to basically convince someone to give me some money to get the whole project going. And now we're here making it happen.
Who gave you money? Like what? Like how do you fund something like this?
Basically, what happened was I found a mate of a mate who I got chatting to and said, like, this is my idea. I want to run the whole length of Africa. It's never been done. We're going to do a YouTube series. We're going to make a documentary. This is like my social media plan. We're going to, like, would you be up for investing? He was like, yeah, right. And then he basically fronted us 50 grand, which is more money than I've ever seen in my entire life. I was like, that's crazy. And then due to a lot of like issues trying to get visas and things like that money got drained over a period of time because we were supposed to be starting in November 2022. Then it got delayed. We had to end up shipping our van all the way across the world to Cape Town from the UK, cost a load of money. And then we ended up on the start line in South Africa in April. with less than 10% of the money we needed to run the entire thing. But sometimes you got to risk it for a chocolate biscuit, mate. So we just went for it, and we still don't have the money, but we're kind of working towards getting some sponsors and stuff to help it. But mate, honestly, I was never a businessman, so trying to convince people to give us money to do some crazy thing that no one thought I could do was very difficult.
We're going to take a quick break to thank the sponsor of today's episode, which is Factor. Now that it's summer, you might be looking for wholesome, convenient meals for sunny, active days. Well, Factor, America's #1 ready-to-eat meal kit, can help you fuel up fast with flavorful and nutritious ready-to-eat meals delivered straight to your door. You'll save time, eat well, and stay on track reaching your goals. Factor helps you skip trips to the grocery store. You also get to skip all the boring meal prep tasks like chopping, prepping, and cleaning up too, while still getting the flavor and nutritional quality you need. Factor's fresh, never frozen meals are ready in just 2 minutes, so all you have to do is heat and enjoy, then get back outside and soak up the warm weather. If you're looking for calorie-conscious options this summer, try delicious dietitian-approved calorie-smart meals with around or less than 550 calories per serving. And if you're on a budget, Factor is cheaper than takeout, but meals are ready faster than restaurant delivery in just 2 minutes. Factor is the sustainable choice as well. They offset 100% of their delivery emissions to your door, source 100% renewable electricity for their production sites and offices, and feature sustainably sourced seafood in their meals. Wow. This June, get Factor and enjoy eating well without the hassle. Simply choose your meals and without.
There's no hassle.
There's no hassle.
Yeah.
Without the hassle. Without the hassle.
That's the whole point of Factor is you don't want the hassle.
Yeah, they don't want the hassle. Simply choose your meals and enjoy fresh, flavor-packed meals delivered to your door. Ready in just 2 minutes, no prep, no mess. So head to factormeals.com/insane50 and use code insane50 to get 50% off your first box. That's code insane50 at factormeals.com/insane50 to get 50% off your first box. Well, I think what's cool about that is that your social media presence has been blowing up. Like the algorithm has you in its talons, it feels like. You're all over. Before I even followed you, I was like, this fucking guy showing up on my Twitter feed. I didn't even know what it was. I just saw your videos and I would watch them on silent and I was like, who is this guy? I've seen him 5 times. And it just seems like people are really catching on and following. Your Instagram's blowing up too. It must be easy now to get some sponsors, some funding. So that must be kind of I don't know, your plan worked, right?
Yeah, I mean, mate, the support has been overwhelming. I won't lie, it's actually mad. And yeah, the sponsor conversations have started happening. They've been happening for a few weeks, and it's basically just trying to figure out who do we want to partner with, and who's, for me, I always say authenticity is the number one value. So right. I have to try and, I know we're skint, so we need money, right? But we need to make sure that these partnerships are solid and that the companies actually believe in the project and they're not just trying to get eyeballs on their whatever product they're selling for the cheapest amount of money possible. There's a lot of different things going on. So I
guess
it's just
be doing Blue Chew ad reads and boner pills and stuff that.
Nah, well that's it, mate. I'm a bit of a rough and ready guy, so we need people that are on board with that or what's happening. Yeah.
So what's I saw that dude that you replied to on Twitter. He was valiant effort, mate, but what you're trying to do is possible. Or it's not gonna happen or something. And you reply and you're like, I'm gonna do it or die trying or whatever. What has been the hardest part so far, and what do you think will be the hardest part moving forward?
Mate, illnesses have been big. I'm 44 days in. I've violently been spewing on a few occasions. I've been explosively going out the other end as well, and now I'm weeing blood. So neither of those 3 things are great. It's taken but I mean, it's kind of part of the game. When you push your body to the fringes of the limits every single day, it's going to happen, isn't it? Weird things happen to the body. So, I've struggled a bit with illnesses at the moment, but honestly, my mindset is if I'm still breathing and my legs are still working, then, like just shut up and get on road and get a few steps in, mate. Like, do you know what I mean? So, you know, I feel pretty confident that I won't be stopped unless I die. Then I'll probably be stopped.
Is there like a chance that you like a lion will jump out of the bush?
Yeah, mate. So where we're at right now is lions everywhere. Lions, elephants, rhinos, giraffes, they're all over the place. Like, but yeah, like I think probably more of a chance that they'll go for a cow or a goat than me. I'm too ferocious, mate.
They know you'd fight back. They're like, they're probably looking at you and they're like, that's the hardest geezer. We can't go for him. He's the hardest geezer.
Mate, well, the thing is, we've all seen the videos, right, of the goats. If you try and kill a goat, it gives up real quick.
Right.
Like, I've just got to be more of a problem than a goat, and then it will just give up and go for the goat instead. That's the theory.
That's the theory. Yeah. Hopefully that works out.
Yeah, I don't know how watertight that theory is, but hopefully we won't need to find out.
Are you not thinking about it all day? Like when I'm out surfing, it's hard not to think about sharks. Like eventually you kind of get desensitized to that thought. But like at the beginning where you kind of looking at the brush being like, at any second some predator could jump out of here.
Yeah, a little bit, mate. Do you know what? When it gets me the most is when, like, obviously I'm running that all day and sometimes you need some bowel movements down there. So you hop into the bush to take care of business.
Right.
And then when you're in the bush, you're in your most vulnerable position, obviously, because you got trousers down, deep squat.
Yeah.
And then you're also thinking like, something comes to me now, I'm brown bread. So you just big scan on the head on a pivot. It
would also be a humiliating way to go out.
Yeah, I don't want to go out like that. I want to go out swinging at least.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You couldn't even really fight back if you're mid poop.
Yeah, what do you even do then? Like, do you just
hard on them?
You just quick time? Yeah.
Yeah, you know.
I mean, do what you can.
Yeah, exactly.
Do what you can.
What about like like any like sketchy people that you've come across? Like I know you mentioned you like
a couple, mate,
with a gun maybe approached you or something like that. Like is there any that sort of thing?
So there's been a couple. Before I go into it, though, I will say that genuinely the overwhelming majority, like 99% of people, have been incredibly kind to us. Like right now, we're staying in this big fancy lodge, probably the nicest place I've ever stayed, and Namibians sorted that out for us for free just because they wanted to help, right? So like basically all of the cases of people being nice to us, but there has been a couple times where, you know, in South Africa, a couple guys tried to rob me when I was running at night, and then in Namibia there was a moment where the boys nearly got robbed because a van pulled out in front of them and the guy got what they thought was a rifle out. But you know, it's part of the game. Like especially if you're going to be out at night, you're going to be taking chances out at night, then these things can happen. So like it's kind of our own fault, really.
And I'm sure that would happen like anywhere in the world, anyways. If you're
running
on the highway in the middle of the night, like you know, you're going to bump into some shady characters.
Yeah, that's it, man.
How is like the geography going to change as you go? Like, is it going to be like weather-wise and like foliage-wise?
Changes so much. It's one of the craziest things, you know. Like we've kind of gone through the Namibian desert now. Now we're heading north. We're going to be going into the Congo rainforest, second biggest rainforest in the world. It's massive, and it's extremely humid, extremely hot. And then we'll be going through West Africa, where the seasons are kind of changing all the time. And then obviously right at the end, we go through the Sahara Desert for like 2,000 or 3,000 miles, which is notoriously a bit. So there's a lot going on, lads. I can't lie. It changes a lot.
And like, what are you training in? Like, what climate are you training in when you were training for this?
Mate, so I went to the Canary Islands, Gran Canaria, to do a lot of my training over the winter. And I think, honestly, right now, I've got to be one of the most heat-adapted gingers in the world, because I actually, it's like 30 something degrees every day out here. And I know I'm a bit pink, but
Yeah.
I'm not, I'm still alive.
Yeah.
Yeah, mate, it's weird. I quite like the heat. I actually struggle when it gets cold. Quite like running in the heat.
Where'd you grow up?
So in the UK on the south coast, so it was pretty cold, can't lie.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
I'm from Canada, and I'm like, I cannot do the heat. I'm so bad at
Really?
training in the heat, everything. It's just maybe I haven't done it enough, but like the humidity and the heat like kills me. Like takes away all endurance that I have.
Yeah. Well, mate, in fairness, I've had 44 days to get used to it. So, yeah, and I was in South Africa before that, and then I was in Gran Canaria before that. So, like, I've had probably, 6 to 9 months to get
How-
used to it.
How
I've
much
done loads of running in heat before.
how much did you train for this? Like total?
Oh, quite a lot, mate. I mean, I've been training for years, really, for this. And I started running marathons about 6 years ago, 6 years ago ish, and then, mate, ever since I've been running loads. But like specifically, the training for this was kind of like when I was in Gran Canaria, I was doing like 250 kilometers a week,
Jesus.
quite regularly. But the endurance more built up over years. Like I've been in the game for a long time, so yeah, it just it all accumulates.
We're going to take another quick break to thank another sponsor of today's episode, Liquid IV. Hydration is not just important for people training for marathons or trying to kick a hangover. It's also essential for daily maintenance. I drink Liquid IV all the time with my busy day-to-day schedule, and I absolutely love it. That makes me sound like a douche. With my super busy day-to-day schedule.
You're a busy guy.
I really do like drinking Liquid IV. I drink it all the time, and I am a very busy man.
You're a busy man.
Yeah,
I know.
I drink it during my busy day-to-day schedule.
Yeah, you always have it in hand.
Yeah,
Except for right now.
Except for right now because I'm so busy.
Right.
Proper functional hydration is essential, and Liquid IV is the #1 powered hydration brand in America. Their hydration multiplier is the one product you're missing in your daily routine. Use it first thing in the morning or before a workout or when you feel run down in the afternoon or after a night out with friends. Liquid IV comes in 12 delicious, refreshing flavors to keep your hydration routine exciting. I drink all the flavors consistently, but my favorite is the watermelon. It's amazing, especially since we're getting warmer weather and especially since how busy I am. One stick of Liquid IV in 16 ounces of water hydrates you 2 times faster and more efficiently than water alone. Liquid IV believes that equitable access to clean and abundant water is the foundation of a healthier world. That's why they partner with leading organizations to fund and foster innovative solutions that help communities protect both their water and their futures. To date, Liquid IV has donated over 39 million servings in 50-plus countries around the world. Real people, real flavor, real hydrating. Grab your Liquid IV in bulk nationwide at Costco, or you can get 20% off when you go to liquidiv.com and use code INSANE at checkout. That's 20% off anything when you shop Better Hydration today using promo code INSANE at liquidiv.com. What inspired you to get into this sort of thing?
Mate, what it kind of happened was, I mean, I was kind of facing problems that a lot of young men face in the world, really, which is just when I was younger, I was probably when I was like 17, 18, 19. Hadn't had enough time to build up any like value that I could offer to the world. And the world kind of just let me know that. So, get any jobs that I wanted, all these things that I wanted, I couldn't have because I was just incompetent and incapable. And I tried to kind of escape that reality with alcohol and gambling and different things that weren't great. Just kind of ended up in a negative spiral of just being, like really overweight, really miserable, just really struggling and not really having the tools around me or the guidance around me to figure out how I'm going to climb out of this hole. And then basically, I was on a night out in Brighton, which is near where we're from, and it was like 3 a.m. in the club, and I just had this thought of like, this is what am I doing with my life right now? I'm wasting it. And then I ran home from the club, about 12 miles or so. I was absolutely in tatters. Had to have a break every 20 minutes, sleeping on the pavement, all the rest of it. And then after that, my mate said to me, my mate gave me a text. He'd just got into running, and he said, "Come and run Brighton half marathon with me." And I had nothing else going for me at the time, so I thought,
you're like, I just did it last night.
I was like, mate, I hate running, but like, fine, because I'm a wit's end here. I don't like whatever, I'll do it.
Yeah.
And then it was kind of that process. I was training, like I was having to go out regularly and do something that I didn't really like doing, and overcoming it and overcoming this battle of, oh, it's raining, but I've got to go running, and like becoming that kind of guy that actually does things that says he's like, that I say I'm going to do.
Yeah.
And like having a difficult thing in my way and overcoming it. And it was that process of doing that sort of gave me the tools to apply that to other areas of my life and not just be, a loser, and became more disciplined, but had some self-belief, but had some motivation, around the world for a few months. And then I was like, I reckon I could run home from Asia. Did that. And then we've just been doing silly things ever since. And now I'm in Africa.
Tell me about the London to Asia run. How long was that? How long even is that? I have no idea.
It was like schoolboy numbers to compare what I'm doing now, but it was 71 marathons in 66 days. I think about 3,000 kilometers, 2,000 miles, something like that. But I was by myself. So I had a bag, and I just had a hammock and a sleeping bag. I just run a marathon and then go and pitch up in the trees and then do the same thing again tomorrow.
And that's crazy. So that's still an ultra marathon every day for 2 months, right?
Yeah.
And were you on social media then? Like, were you promoting this at all, or did you just do it by yourself?
Nah, not really. So basically, in them times, I didn't even really know about social media that much. I didn't really care. Like, I posted about it just for my boys to see, really, just to be like, yes, lads, I'm in Serbia, running marathon, like gonna go and camp in the trees now, like as jokes kind of thing. And then it got a little bit of traction, not much at all, but like a tiny bit. Like I had like maybe 4,000 followers at the end of it. And then at the end I was like, mate, I had to go and get a job, so I was skint after. So I was working in bars and stuff, and I was like, mate, I want to go back doing that adventure stuff. That was fun. Like, I need to figure out how I'm going to make this a career. And then obviously started thinking about it more, and I was like, look, the content game is the one I'm going to have to get into, because if we film these things and like post it on socials and stuff, then we can start earning money, and it will pay for this and make a career out of it. And then honestly, it just took from then, which was like 4 and a bit years ago, to now, to actually make it happen, because I was just had a monkey brain and didn't know what I was doing, basically.
But I mean, it worked out. It's like,
Yeah.
you kind of say that now it's your career, right?
Yeah, I mean, we got here in the end, and I think that kind of shows, like, if people, you got to try and just move yourself towards what you want to do. And if you're persistent enough and you're willing to fail a lot and just take it on the chin, keep moving forward, then these things do like eventually start working out.
Yeah.
know?
It's funny that you mentioned like just sending the runs to your boys as like a I have this group chat with all my boys, and it's like only about workouts. It's like you screenshot your workout and you send it, and like everyone tries to like best each other. And I did my first ultra marathon last year, and that was like half the reason I did it is just so I could send that one screenshot that said 9 hours, 9,000 feet of elevation, and I think that's still the best one.
Mate,
the group, I think
that's gnarly. Wait, 9 hours? How far did you go?
60K, but it was 9,000 feet of elevation.
9,000 feet of elevation.
Yeah, it was like a climb. Dude, it took for fucking.
That's a crazy amount of climbing, mate.
Yeah, it was tough. But
that must have just been like permanently uphill, then downhill, then uphill, then downhill.
Yeah, and it was like steep too. Like a lot of the climbs were really steep, and then the downhills were really steep. So you're like, you never get any relief because the downhills are just as hard as the hills, you know?
Yeah, I know the feeling, man. Yeah, it's mad.
I signed up for that one because I was in this same sort of negative cycle of not believing in myself because I wasn't showing up for myself myself, and I couldn't trust myself because I would tell myself I wanted to do something, and then I wouldn't take action, and I'd be like, "Oh, you're a piece of shit." It's amazing like
Yeah, mate.
how like self-fulfilling that is, and it turns into a cycle because it's just once you don't really trust yourself, it's like in the back of your mind you'll never be able to achieve what you want, so it's like, why even try? So then you fall victim to like these bad
Yeah.
decisions. But when you said that, I really resonated with that because that's kind of the same cycle
You
I
have
was
to,
in.
like,
And then
you live with that guilt.
yeah,
Like, you live with that guilt of not taking responsibility for the stuff, like for the basic things that you want to take responsibility for. It kind of eats you alive, doesn't it?
exactly,
It's not a nice place to be.
because guilt is a hard emotion to deal with. So then you like for me, it was like I was turning to alcohol, and like I would just want to numb this feeling of like, oh, you are a piece of shit. You don't do the things that you want to do.
Mhm.
So how do you deal with that? Well, then you just turn to these bad habits, which makes everything worse.
Yeah.
And I feel like
Yeah, man.
the way I got out of that was just by every day training for this ultra, and then after that doing Ironman. And
What's next? What's next? What's next on the agenda, Cody?
I think I'm gonna fly in and meet you, and just do the rest.
Yeah.
I'm kidding,
Yeah, mate. Honestly,
dude. I thought that
lad,
for a second. I was like, fuck, even just 1 to 2 days, like doing a run with you, like
mate,
an after.
come and do it, lad. Come and do it. We're in Angola next, and then we're going to DRC and Republic of Congo. So, mate, I reckon I'll back you for a week straight of ultra marathons. What do you reckon? You got it?
No way, dude. I gotta train for one. You're doing like I was looking at your Strava, and you're like, what? You're clocking like 60K a day, right? Like on a,
yeah.
I think I'd have to train right
Yeah.
now like pretty hard for a couple months to do 60K in one sitting.
Nah, that's a nonsense, bro. You could do it right now. If I had a gun to your head and said, Cody, lad, I want 60K right now, you're getting out. You're getting it done.
Well,
100%.
let's just do that then. Do you have a gun? Because we should do that.
Nah, unfortunately.
I'm kidding. I'll fly in. You can put my head, and then we'll do it.
Yeah. All right, sick.
No, I the next thing I'm training for is like a 50 miler, because I raised money for charity, and it was like a promise that for every $1,000 I'd run another mile, and I raised 50K, so
Oh.
now I have to run 50 miles. So I'm kind of starting to train for that and figuring out like when I'm gonna do it.
Nice, mate.
But I just can't
Nice,
imagine doing
man.
that every day for the better part of a year. How is your body? How
Yeah.
is your body adapted? Like what changes have you seen? I was reading tweets from this
Mate,
one girl
got
that's running.
skinny.
Yeah? Like how much weight have you lost?
Yeah. I don't know the numbers because we ain't got a weighing scale, but mate, even if you look at photos on day one and then now, you can see that I'm an absolute rake of a human being in current form. I reckon I've probably lost about 7 or 8 kilos, which isn't crazy, but yeah, mate, game is the game. It actually just makes me more efficient anyway, so
True.
it's all right. But it's what I always say to people, yeah, is it's really crazy how adaptable the human body is when you need it to be. And like there's a difference between when you need it to adapt and when you like kind of want it to adapt. Like when you go out running a marathon every day, and you've done, like, I've put in a lot of work to do it, obviously, but like it just finds a way. It just makes it happen. Like it's quite crazy.
I was reading tweets from this girl that's running an ultra marathon every day. I think she did.
Yeah.
Every day she did, but she said her feet grew a whole size. Like her shoes
Yeah.
are a size bigger now because her feet are so like calloused, and like her body just adapted. That's one of the things
Yeah.
that happened.
Yeah. Yeah, my feet are a bit mash up and all that, aren't I?
Are your nails all fucked up?
Yeah, mate, I've lost a couple. I'm looking at them right now, actually. I've got a lot of blisters, but surface level pain in it, mate.
Yeah. How do you like? What do you think? What's your biggest, I guess, I don't know, like way to motivate yourself like every day? I love your videos because they're so motivating. I feel like the things you say is just no bullshit. This is how it is. Is that what you're telling yourself every day?
Uh, Yeah, mate. I mean, what's kind of the thing about this challenge is because I've said no rest days, right? I've kind of pinned myself into this corner where I don't really get a choice of whether I get to be motivated or not. I like when I wake up, there's no doubt in my mind that I have to go and run. Like, obviously, I've got to go and run. So there's no games to be played. Like, you know how, like, if you haven't done that, like when I'm training, for example, and I know that a rest day is potentially on the table if I really want it to be, then in the morning I have to kind of get motivated because I need to try and choose the best option. But right now I don't have an option. So it's just like, cool, I'm going out running. But then obviously times get tough on the road and there's loads of things that I think about. But, like you said, I make videos online every day and there's a couple of people that watch them and I get messages all the time about people going out running, and that kind of holds me accountable because I'm like, oh, it's powerful to me that like someone's gone and run off seeing what I've done. Like that means a lot, and and that's important to me. I want to keep it being able to do that. So I'm like, all right, I've got to be accountable to those people, and then I've got people that I love at home that I want to build a life with in the future, and I want to do the best for them, and I want to be a great dad in the future, and I want to build build that for my kids. So it's like, well, you've got to be accountable to them, and then there's the 17-year-old version of me that's fat, drinking loads, being a loser, and dreaming of a better life. And it's like, well, you've got an opportunity here, Russ. Don't let yourself down. So like, there's a lot of big things that mean that I can't quit.
Yeah. When you set out for this, did you imagine yourself inspiring as many people as I'm sure you do? Like, I'm sure you get messages along of people. Like this morning, I woke up and I was like, felt like shit, but then I was like, I got to go for a run. I'm interviewing the hardest geezer. I got to put in some time, like pay my dues.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you ever feel like this was something that you set out to motivate people, or you're like, I'm just doing this challenge for myself and it's kind of an interesting side effect?
I think it's definitely like a piece of the pie that was one of the aims of the project. Like I've worked with a charity called the Running Charity for a long time, and what a lot of what we're trying to do is use running as the spark to, how we've spoken now about trying to get people out of a kind of negative spiral into a positive one, and using running as that kind of spark to try and help that happen along with a load of other things. So I always knew how powerful it could be if I could get some people running it doesn't even have to be running. Like sometimes I hate running. Sometimes a lot of people hate running. Just like going for the thing that they have been putting off, or, just taking that kind of leap of faith to get things started. Could be music, could be writing a song, could be writing a book, could be doing painting something, whatever it is, going for a job that they've wanted to do for ages. Like that's the kind of things that get me going when I hear people that have messaged me saying they're doing X, Y, Z. I'm like, yes, go on, lad, go and get it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's awesome.
It's powerful.
Yeah, it really is. What's the plan? I guess, I'm sure you will finish this, but like if and when you do, what's the plan after?
Yeah.
In terms of this, your like media strategy? You said you were filming a documentary. Like, is that something you plan to?
Yeah.
Release?
So yeah, I mean, I'm a bit of a shoot for the stars kind of guy. So for me, I think we're shooting a documentary. I would love that to be released on a major streaming platform, or like or national TV or something like this. So that's kind of what we're going for with that. We'll see. Maybe it happens, maybe it doesn't. That's fine. In terms of like what I want to do after, I'm not 100% sure. There's a ton of different angles that I feel like we could go down. I would honestly say the most important thing to me is, I really want to have a family and be a good husband and a good dad. I don't think there's many things in the world that are more powerful than that. And maybe after this, I'll have a bit of time to do that properly. Would be good.
Nice.
We'll see. What about you, mate?
What do you mean?
Have you got a missus or kids or anything like this?
I have a wife. I just got married in February.
Yeah. Oh, no way.
Yes.
Unreal, man. Congratulations.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Yeah, that was a huge, it was obviously a huge life event. And I signed up for an Ironman 3 months later, like as in like the race was 3 months after that. So my wedding and honeymoon were like right in the middle of like the peak training weeks.
Wow.
So I basically took like 3 weeks off from training, and then
Yeah.
I had to jump back into it when I got back, and I was like, I had gained like 8 pounds from my honeymoon, and so it was interesting, like all those things
I bet.
together. It was a lot of like huge life events in the span of 3 months. It's been a crazy year.
Yeah.
For sure.
How did you find the Ironman? Like, what was your kind of thought process going through that? Like, did you have any real severe low moments where you were like, nah, I'm done, or what?
Yeah, I mean, I always, I feel like I'm kind of like an all or nothing kind of guy. Like if the switch is turned on, then I have no problem nowadays, at least, like ever since ever since I found training again and enjoying everything, like, but I kind of fell out of it like the 2 months before the race. I got so sick of training, like these huge weekends, that I kind of fell out of love with the training portion of it. I was just sick of it. I was like, I can't wait to get this fucking thing done with. And I kind of wish I had really stuck with it for those last 2 months, because I think my time would have been better. But I still put it in the work, and like the total training time was 8 months. The actual race itself was the hardest thing I've ever done, for sure. But like I think it was harder than the ultra, for sure.
It goes like that. The training, when you train for a long period of time, I think it's pretty normal to have, like I have it as well, where you have like a period where you just do not fancy it at all. I have days out here where I'm like, I do not fancy this smoke right now. All I want to do is curl up in bed and be a little princess all day.
Yeah.
Like I think it's kind of, I try to just let that happen a little bit when I feel like it, because you can't just fight that all the time,
No, it's true. It's like some days are just shitty. That's the case with anything, but it's like abundantly clear when it's with something like working out, because it's like you just feel like shit, and it's like you have to get it done, but you don't want to. And I can't imagine what that would feel like when you have to run an ultra. Like, how do you trick your mind into finishing that? Because I mean, you're out there for what, like 6 hours or something? Like, do you break it down
like
into smaller
6.
pieces?
Well, yeah, I'll break it down, mate. So like basically on the really tough days, so I had a really tough day the other day where I think I was pooing myself. I can't remember, but I remember it was really windy, like severe headwinds coming at me all day, and I felt dog, and I was just like, my body was depleted, just totally rough day. And what I ended up doing is just like breaking it down into like 1 kilometer. I've got to run 60, right? But I'm breaking it down into 1 kilometer, being like, right, this is what we're going to do, Russ. I'm going to run 800 meters, and then I'm going to walk for 200 meters. And that's your little sweetie. That's your little, like, always ran 800 meters, give him a little break. And then I'd get to that kilometer, be like, all right, cool, now it's time to run again. And then I'd go and meet the boys after 15 kilometers, sit down, have a drink, have a little 20-minute break, and then go and do it again. And it's really it's mind-numbingly like energy consuming, and it's like almost torture. But when you're really feeling dog, that's the only way to get it done, in my experience anyway.
Yeah, you can't think about the big,
just like
what's right in front of you.
Yeah, because my mind's weak in that moment as well. It's not like my body's a mash up, but my mind's feeling strong. It's like I've woken up, I feel like quitting already. I haven't even started. My body also feels rubbish. So we're just going to have to make this as manageable as possible today. And that's when you're out here for something like 8 months, those days are inevitable. So you just got to allow it every now and again. And then, tomorrow, like I try and catch myself before that day turns into a week. You know, like if that day is one day, then it's fine. And I go, right, like I just catch myself before that turns into something too long. So, you know, the tomorrow is a new day, and we're trying to attack it with as much as positivity as possible for the next day. You know, that's basically the aim.
So are you like being very careful with what you eat now? Like, because it was, I think you said in your video, it was like one of the sandwiches or something that like eventually, or like that first meal.
Yeah, mate. I think it was the sandwich, and then I think it was some dodgy water that we got. So now I'm trying to be extremely like I've only been eating things out of a packet really for the last few days, like sticking to basics. I've got some protein powder, I've got crackers, I've got chocolate, and I've got bottled water. And it's probably not the most nutritional diet, but I know it ain't gonna make me chump or leak out the bummer. Do you know what I mean? So you just gotta play it safe in these scenarios.
Yeah.
And then as I'm starting to feel better, then I'll start adding a couple more things into the diet.
How many calories do you think you're eating every day?
Mate, so when I went to a lab before this started, right, and they said that they thought I was going to burn about 7,000 a day, but my watch is telling me that I'm only burning about 3.5 to 3,700, and I think because I've got really skinny and I'm doing this every day, and my heart rate's so low, my body started to get quite efficient, and it's just not burning as much. Like my resting heart rate is 30 right now. So like I'm just not burning that many calories. I'm not burning as many calories as everyone thought I would, basically.
That's crazy. So you don't have to eat that much then. Like you're eating probably normal amounts.
I'm probably eating the same as an average American dad lad.
Probably the same as me right now. I think my breakfast was like 3,000 calories, honestly.
I'm just eating the same as a lad on the bulk, mate, on the bulk season.
Yeah, I've been on the bulk since Ironman, to be honest, you know.
Yeah.
Not a lot of working out, but just a lot of bulking. A lot of eating.
The dirty bulk.
Yeah, the dirty bulk, exactly. My whole life is a dirty bulk.
Oh, me too, mate. But I just run so much that I just still remain skinny, so it's all right.
That's half the reason I fucking do it is so I can eat what I want.
Yeah.
Half
Mate,
so I can send my boys screenshots of my workouts to impress them, and half so I can eat whatever the fuck I want.
Yeah, it makes total sense to me, lad. You don't need to explain it to me. I get it, 100%. The only reason I run is because otherwise I'd be in real bad shape, real bad.
Yeah. But it's just like the other things are nice side effects, you know. The other positive impacts on your life and motivating everyone else.
Yeah.
Raising money for charity.
Yeah.
Oh, these are things that just happen.
Little side hustle.
It's side hustles, exactly. So you gotta fix the pissing blood thing, right? Like, what do you think is wrong?
Mate, so I'm seeing a doctor tomorrow. The boys are a little bit worried. I'm not so worried. I just think it's, you know, you do these kind of silly things, and then silly things are bound to happen to your body. It's just part of the game. They're mainly worried about there's some kind of disease, some kind of condition that everyone keeps sending us, saying like, if it's this, then you might die. So we're getting a doctor just to double check.
What is the
I can't remember what it's called. It's like it starts with an R and it's like Rambo Dum.
Okay.
Something like that.
Something like that.
And apparently with runners quite a lot when they start pissing blood. But I think I don't know, it could be like kidney stones or just some kind of infection, you know. It doesn't hurt
like
that much.
It's like could be just like overuse, like you know, your I don't know.
Exactly.
I feel like a lot of things like you're bumping, your organs are bumping around in there, so maybe sometimes that just like or something. I don't know. I'm not a doctor.
Yeah, but I've kind of
diagnose you.
Yeah, I landed
on WebMD real fast.
I have. Yeah, I landed on the fact I have no idea what I'm talking about, so I should probably get some advice from someone that does. I like to think I know everything, but unfortunately, I don't.
Yeah. What's the like the visa situation when you cross borders and stuff? Like, I know you said you spent like a whole day in an embassy. What are they?
Yeah.
What takes so long about that process?
Oh, mate, spent a couple days basically trying to get visas. But you know, a little Benjamin Franklin doesn't hurt that situation. You know what I mean?
Really?
Nah, well, yeah.
Nah,
But nah, mostly, yeah. Yeah, a couple missing pages in the passport, if you know what I'm saying. But yeah, nah, visas are a bit tricky here. It's just part of the gig, mate. We got to go to embassies all the way up, and then you know give them the schmooze, and hopefully they let us into their countries, and we can continue the mission. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a logistical nightmare. I won't lie, lad. There's a lot. You know, 16 different countries. You got all of these borders to try and cross. You know, the last border I had to cross by myself, go into the desert all night. That was tasty.
Oh, Jesus
You know?
Christ.
Yeah.
Is it like, are they like, what the fuck are you guys doing? Like with all these sprinter vans, and they probably are like, right? And cameras and.
Yeah, well, mate. Yeah, that's the other trouble is you know, we've only got one van and it's not outlandish for people to do overlanding trips. It's just the running is a bit weird. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
We don't really make a big song and dance about it. We just try and get on with we're just trying to cross a border. And, you know, we've only crossed one so far. It went okay. We got there in the end. But I'm sure we'll have many more good and bad experiences at borders.
What's like the wildest thing that's happened thus far? The craziest story in the last 44 days?
I don't know. There's been a few. I'd say you know, there was about a 3-day period where I couldn't stomach any food. I was violently chundering every time I ate something, and or pooing water out my bum, and I still managed to run over 3-day period. I ran a half marathon, then 2 full marathons. That was pretty gnarly. I was super delirious throughout that. Couldn't even see. Like, it was wild. And then, you know, well, we're in lion country now, so I'm thinking the next few days are going to be a little bit chopsy. We'll see what happens there. Mate, so much has happened in 44 days. I can't even compute it in my brain.
Yeah. And you have another, what, 200 days?
200, yeah, 196.
Wow.
Go. Yeah.
I mean, dude,
it's wild, bro.
It's fucking super inspiring. I wish you, you know, the best of. I mean, I feel like wishing people luck is a bad omen, but you know, I can't wait to see you finish this. Any like,
Thank you, Matt.
any like, I don't know. I feel like it'd be good to get like a motivational message for the listeners.
Yeah.
Thing to keep them going. What do you got? Anything?
Yeah. Well, one thing I always like to say to people is that there is always a light at the end of the tunnel. I think, you know, there might be a few people listening that maybe are in a dark place right now, and I've been there. Sounds like you've been there as well. And in those dark places, a lot of the time, I've found that it feels so overwhelming and consuming that you cannot foresee a way where your life moves forward and you move into the light. But what is so important in those moments is to try and keep plugging away, because, you know, life is a beautiful thing. We have one chance here. And if you keep moving forward, you'll find the light eventually. And, you know, stick around for it, man, because it's a beautiful thing. So that's kind of what I would say to the listeners.
Fuck yeah. Thanks, dude. I really appreciate it. It was
Nice.
great meeting you. It was great chatting. And I'll let you know when I'm flying in. I'll send you a screenshot of my flight
Yes,
when I book
100%.
it. And we'll do
Mate, on a real, you're welcome. You're welcome more anytime, mate. If you want to come and get some 1s and 2s in on road, you're welcome, lad.
I honestly might do it.
Mate, you let me know. We'll make it happen.
I will. Thanks, man.
Sick, man.
Hit it, and
I really appreciate you having me as well, man. The support it really does mean a lot.
absolutely, man. Absolutely. I'm glad we had this conversation and get the pissing blood thing figured out. Get that healed.
Yeah.
Going.
Yeah. Nice one, bro.
All right, dude. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Nice. No worries. Have a great rest of the day, man.
You too, man. Enjoy.
See you later.
Get some rest. Peace.